All right, we're almost done. Just getting us moved over onto Facebook. Thanks for your patience. Redirecting. And I think we are live in the LB and Lifestyle group. Maybe somebody can confirm that for me. All right, so let me get our PowerPoint pulled up. Actually, can you guys see the PowerPoint or no? I'm just seeing that on my screen. Oh, my Zoom box disappeared. There we go. Okay. All right. Let me share screen and we will get started. All right. Are we good now? Are you seeing this? Yes. Thumbs up. Can we see the PowerPoint? Okay. All right. Go ahead and mute yourself as you are coming. So that we don't have background noise. I can do that for and there we go. All right, awesome. Welcome so much, you guys, to our Gentle Babies class. My name is Andrea Lehman. This class actually comes from a book of the same name, Gentle Babies, by a nurse in Young Living who wrote this book. Super, super helpful book. If you are somebody who is either pregnant or you have babies or you have children, this is a super helpful book because it goes through pregnancy, childbirth, and beyond. And lots of helpful tips in there. I know one of the things with new moms or pregnant moms is they're very concerned about what can I use, what things are okay to use and what things are not okay to use. And so that book is super helpful. We're gonna seek to answer some of those things for you tonight, just so that you can feel more comfortable. My guess is if you've already been using oils for a while, you're probably pretty darn comfortable with them. But for those who might be newer to this essential oil thing, I get it. I totally get it because you can Google stuff and you're gonna see, oh, essential oils and all of the, these terrifying things about it. We're gonna dispel some of those myths tonight and help you to feel just more confident. So who am I? I'm Andrea Lehman. I've been with Young Living for 13 years now at this point, which is crazy to me how fast this has gone. And when I started using the oils, I was using them just for myself. I was a school teacher. I was picking up everything that would come through the classroom. My immune system was shot. And so that's kind of where I came into this oil world. I came from a very not natural world. Very Western medicine. We didn't really do anything holistically. And so this was a big life change for me, learning about the oils. I always joke that the oils were my gateway drug into natural living because they really did open up my eyes to the fact that there was so much more out there. And so I was very fortunate that we started using the oils before I started having kids. So we were about 2 years into using the oils when when I got pregnant with my son, Grant, who is now 11 years old. And it was fun because he got to be a completely oily baby. I think he has seen, over-the-counter medications maybe twice in his entire life. We use the oils for everything. And so I felt very comfortable just because of the reading that I had done, the classes I had attended. I felt very comfortable with the oils with him from little baby on. And then it followed with our next daughter. My daughter is Bennett. She's 8 years old. Same thing. She was an oily baby, had oily pregnancies, and it's just been a really cool journey. So here we are. One warning that I need to give you is that I am not a doctor. This is the disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not treating. I'm not prescribing. I'm not telling you what you should do. This is everybody's own journey, right? So when you get into this natural world and you're deciding what is right for you, that's the point. You're deciding what's right for you. So just don't take any of this that we say tonight as gospel that yeah, that's what you should do. We encourage you always to do your own research. We're just sharing what has worked well for us. All right, so let's get on with it. All right, so we know that pregnancy and childbirth and those early months after having a child are really exciting times, but they can also be concerning times because it's that uncertainty of not knowing what can I use, what can I use. Things that you may have been using over the counter and things like that are not recommended during pregnancy, are not recommended with breastfeeding, things like that. So we're going to look at what are some of the options, the natural options that you can go to when there are things that you normally would have gone to that you can't go to anymore. And so we're going to give you some options that I feel are actually better. Okay, they're better for your health, and they're options that you may want to just continue to use for always, right? Even when there's nothing saying that you can't anymore. All right, so we're going to look at some nutrition stuff tonight. We're going to look at essential oils tonight, personal care products. Basically, essential oils have had thousands of years of safe use. And so you can know that when you're using essential oils and using them properly and using high quality essential oils, that you can feel very comfortable in using them both with yourself if you are pregnant and with your small children. I think that this quote here is super comforting. This is there's a book by Jan Buckle called Clinical Aromatherapy. And in it, she says, no record of abnormal fetus or aborted fetuses due to normal use of essential oils, inhalation, topical, or taken by mouth. And obviously, that is a concern for people. Like, am I going to do something that is going to harm my baby? And we would never want anything like that to happen. So I love the comfort in that there's never been anything that indicates that there's any harm in normal usage of essential oils, especially when we're talking about high quality, high grade essential oils. So what are the different ways that you can use oils? There's lots of them. Diffuse them for the smell, wear them topically. You can, throw some oils in and a little bit of Epsom salt in the bath for a bath. Use them in massage, which is great, right? For massaging your little one, pregnancy massage. Ointments, salves, creams, natural options. Also ingesting or in food preparation, depending on the brand. Obviously tonight we are only talking about Young Living, and so it's an okay when you're using Young Living. And then also for house cleaning. All right, so I'm gonna stop us there and we're gonna go to the chat box. So if you are watching from your computer, down at the bottom of the screen, you should see where it says chat. If you click on that, you're gonna be able to write in there, all right? If you're on your phone, you may need to tap your face, and then I think you're looking for 3 dots, and that should pull up the chat feature or the participants that has chat in it. It's changed on the phone, so I'm not totally sure from the phone, but you want to get to where you can chat, okay? So I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to put your answer in the chat. We're going to give away a $20 product credit. If you're somebody who is invited by a friend and you don't have a Young Living account yet, we'll figure that out. Maybe that $20 will go towards product that you may purchase in the future. But for those of you who already have a Young Living account, which I'm assuming is most of you, one of you will win a $20 product credit that you can use on whatever. So here is the first question. Just to get to know you a little bit. Okay, this is a 2-part. Are you a mom or dad? I don't know if we have any males on the call tonight. Are you a mom or dad already? And if so, how many kiddos do you have? If not, let us know, are you pregnant? And then also, if you already have children, what is, if you could say one product that you love using with your children, one Young Living product you love using with your children, go ahead and put that in the chat as well. All right, so go ahead and do that now. Julie, you'll draw a name there and then let me know in a bit who the winner is of that. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and continue. All right, so let's talk about precautions when using essential oils. One biggie is to avoid citrus oils topically if you're gonna have long-term sun exposure. I'm not talking about like walking into the store in the sun or getting into your car, those kinds of things. But like if you're going to be out on like an hour-long walk, you don't want to put citrus oils directly on your skin because they can burn the skin. Citrus oils are photosensitive, as we say. So you just want to be careful with that. Internally is okay. And then for infants, a little goes a long way. All right. So you're always going to want to dilute the oils. before applying to your infants. And a little goes a long way. But here's what I don't want. I don't want you to stress about the exact ratio. All right, you're seeing 1 in 30. Oh my gosh, how do I get that exact ratio? I'll tell you exactly what I did with my kids. Once again, you do what's comfortable for you. But I would take just a little bit of olive oil, okay, or a little bit of coconut oil in the palm of my hand, and then I would just add a drop of oil to it, okay? So I'd have like a little, maybe like a dime-sized dollop of the carrier oil, and then I'd add 1 drop of essential oil to it. Then I'd rub my hands together, and then I would apply to my baby, okay? So that's what I did. Do I know that it was exactly 130? No, I don't, but that worked really well for us. The point is they don't need a lot. They don't need a lot of oil. You don't need multiple drops, and you just want to dilute before applying. All right, neat means undiluted. So you'll see that sometimes in text where it talks about applying something neat. And then this is important to know, because if you're new to essential oils and you've experienced things like headache or some nausea or whatever from using them, oils are very detoxifying, okay? So people who have had a lifetime of toxic exposure, think about things, you know, like working in chemical plants or working around hair where you're always around the toxins, or nail salons. You know, my dad had a pool store, so he's always around chlorine and stuff like that. If you've had a lifetime of toxic exposure, you want to start slow, because the oils are very detoxifying. If you use too much at one time, you might have that reaction because your body's trying to release toxins too quickly. So just back off a little bit if you experience any of that. If rash occurs from applying topically, wash the area with soap and water and apply a carrier oil. Now, I didn't write this script. I always advise people to go right away to a carrier oil if skin is a little bit burny. Water can make it feel a little bit more burny, but I suppose if there's a rash, you might want to get it all washed off with soap and water. So you can decide. I always go to carrier oil first before using any water. And then review possible chemical and toxin containing home products and switch to chemical-free options. So that's another big thing. You're kind of working against yourself. If you have like plugins everywhere in your house, which unfortunately are not safe, okay? They are toxic. And when you think about the fact that this is inside the home in an enclosed space, all of the chemicals from you know, the Glade plugins or whatever it is you're using is going into the air. So now you're using essential oils that are detoxifying and putting something into the air that is toxifying. So they're working against each other. So just being aware of, okay, what are the options in our home? What are things that we can start to replace as we're moving forward in this more natural journey? All right, so oils to use with caution during pregnancy is right here. So you might want to take a screenshot of this. A lot of books list basil, birch, calamus, cassia, clary sage, cinnamon, hyssop, Idaho tansy, lavender, rosemary, sage, and tarragon. Some of these are because they're hot oils, like cinnamon specifically is a very hot oil, so is cassia. Clary sage is an estrogenic oil, meaning that it can promote estrogen levels within the body, and you do not want high estrogen levels at the beginning of pregnancy. Okay, so that would be why to avoid that one. If you're getting some of these in small amounts, I used a lot of these in small amounts, but these would be like the main list of ones that books would say be careful with these oils. There's no need to fear using essential oils by Young Living because of the high quality. Like I said, some of those may cause skin sensitivities, and that's why they said it, but clary sage specifically, that was really the only oil that during both of my pregnancies I avoided until the end, because it is like an estrogen promoting oil. All right, moving on. All right, so I think that this is important to realize, because if you think about when you use oils, most of the time you are using like a drop or 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 drops at a time. In most instances where there was an issue with an essential oil, 1/2 to 1 ounce of the oil was used. Okay, so that's a large amount. Think about an ounce is like 1/8 of a cup. I think that's probably about the equivalent. It's a lot of oil, and we're going to see some examples on the next page. So look at this. So this is from that same book, Clinical Aromatherapy by Jane Buckle. This is the amount that it would take to cause a serious negative response. Now, this is a reason to keep these oils away from small children, absolutely. But this is the amount of the oil that would cause a serious issue. So basil, 8 milliliters, okay? That's well over 100 drops, well over 100 drops. Clove, 25 milliliters. Think about your 15 milliliter bottle of oil, which has 250 to 300 drops in it. This is 10 milliliters more than that. So we're talking like close to 400 drops that it would take to cause a serious negative response. And then you can see with hyssop, oregano, sage, tarragon, and wintergreen. So it takes a lot. We don't have to be scared about using drops of oil at all. All right, so this is going to go over 3 oils that you will hear the most about in a negative light and give you just a little bit more information about those. Wintergreen is not one that I would use on small infants. I just wouldn't, because wintergreen, the main constituent in it is methyl salicylate, which basically is aspirin. It is the natural form of aspirin. Okay, so and that's why there's a safety cap on it, because it's wintergreen. It smells like, you know, gum or, you know, like breath mints or something like that. And so we definitely don't want children to swallow a whole bottle of wintergreen. Although I will tell you this, just to lighten it a little bit, there have been many times when people have called in to poison control, swallowing things like wintergreen or Panaway, their children swallowing those things, and poison control said, what brand is it? And when they said it was Young Living, they said they'll be okay. So know that quality does matter, but definitely you don't want a small child swallowing much wintergreen because it is like aspirin. So definitely one to keep away from the little ones. All right. Eucalyptus oil, same thing with eucalyptus oil. This is one not typically recommended for little babies. It is one that I might, if my baby was struggling with, you know, some like nasal congestion or something like that, this is one that I would dilute and apply to the feet. I would not have a problem doing that, but it's not one that you want up next to the respiratory tract, because it can be super overwhelming to the lungs. It's very strong. So it gives you some alternatives there that would be safer options to go to. Idaho balsam fir, myrtle is a great one with little ones and can have the same impact that a eucalyptus might, but it's gentler. Pine, also much more gentle. Spruce and cypress. All right. And then the last one that you might hear a lot about in a negative light would be peppermint oil. Peppermint oil is mainly menthol, and this is one that can kind of burn on the skin, so it's not one that you would go to use on small children. Even my 8-year-old, I generally don't use peppermint on her because she has really sensitive skin, and so we'll always go to other options before peppermint if applying topically. It can, because of it has that burning sensation, it can cause a red rash. That doesn't necessarily mean you're having any sort of allergic reaction to it. It's just hot on the skin. So once again, if that happens, you want to use a carrier oil, apply it over. The carrier oil is going to slow the absorption of that oil into the skin, and so it's going to stop the burning. All right, so that is peppermint. I definitely would avoid this one on babies and use with caution on small children. Definitely avoid this area with small children because it could overwhelm the lungs. All right, now that we've gone over the safety stuff with some of the oils, I think these are some good questions to ask yourself. So do synthetic perfumes contain warnings against use when pregnant? Can you use an air freshener in the home when pregnant? Do you have to select fragrance-free laundry detergent, soap, and shampoo? Nope. So none of these warnings are given for synthetic toxic products. So why do natural ones come under fire? It's a good question to ask yourself. So these things are way more toxic and potentially harmful to ourselves and to a fetus, yet there's no hoopla made about them. Yet things that are natural always come under fire. All right, moving on. I love this. So this is the difference between fragrance oil. So like when you, if you were to go to the store and you get some personal care product that says it has essential oils in it, typically they are fragrance essential oils. And so they don't have any health benefit. They're not going to support your physical or emotional, wellness in any way. And generally they're synthetic. So look at some of these things here. So synthetic may contain phthalates shown to disrupt hormone activity. They may clog and confuse our receptor sites on our cells. They may depress the immune system. They may cause headaches, dizziness, and more. And they may have, other negative side effects. So essential oils, they cleanse the receptor sites on our cells. I love that. So they're actually helping our cells to have better intercellular communication because they're getting rid of toxins and gunk that clog the cells. They help us to maintain wellness. They help us to support our wellness in the body, and they don't have the negative side effects that the artificial synthetic stuff does. All right, let's see if we have a winner. Thanks, Julie. Yes, text me the winners. Yeah, text me the winners as they come, Julie. I'll do a couple more slides and then we'll do our first winner. Oh, we already have it. Okay, awesome. All right, so our first winner with the first question was Sharon Pearson. Congratulations, Sharon. You have a $20 product credit coming your way. You jot your name down really quick. And guys, get ready to write again because I'm going to ask the next question. All right, question number 2. What is one thing you're hoping to get out of this class tonight? We've already gone over some of the precautions and the warnings and, why you don't need to be afraid of safely using Young Living essential oils on yourself or with your little ones. We're going to talk about some more products and things like that. What's one thing you're hoping to get out of the class tonight? So throw that answer in there, and we're going to do another $20 product credit coming up. In the meantime, I'm going to continue. All right. All right, so we're going to go through some things really quickly that can be safely used while you are pregnant. And we're going to cover some of the most common complaints during pregnancy and what Young Living products you might go to first. Okay, so how about just keeping calm? I know that if you asked my husband what I was like during pregnancy, I feel like his perception is very different than what my perception was of myself during pregnancy. But these are some of the oils and supplements just to keep you calm. All right, Aroma Life is a great one to use for occasional stress. Great, it's great just to take an oil in your hands literally and just cup it over your nose and just take a few seconds to just deeply breathe. I think it's one of my favorite things about using essential oils is that we don't often take the time to just breathe. And just that alone, even without the oil, just taking time to breathe is huge for helping to lower our stress levels, to get back to the present moment. But when you couple that with the power of essential oils and the impact that they can have on our amygdala, which is the emotional center of our brain, it's a really powerful combo. So Aroma Life, Ylang Ylang is another great one. Ningxia Red, do you know that Ningxia Red actually can have an impact on our emotions as well as our physical well-being? Okay. Ningxia Red, during both of my pregnancies, I doubled the amount that I was taking. And then lavender, it's a simple one, but lavender is fantastic for calming emotions, reducing stress levels. All right. Okay, what to do for an occasional cough? If you haven't tried the Thieves cough drops, they're a great one just to have on hand in case anything happens. And I know from personal experience that coughing during pregnancy, especially at the end of pregnancy, is not fun. So these cough drops are a good one to go to. Lemon oil, just putting a little bit of lemon oil, a drop or two in like a teaspoon of honey or a teaspoon of maple syrup is a great way to soothe the throat. Inner Defense is something that I always have on hand. So Inner Defense is basically thieves oil as well as oregano and thyme. If you just Google oregano and thyme, or if you go to, I forget the website, I think it's pubmed.gov. I always forget if it's .gov. I think it's pubmed.gov. There's tons of research articles there. You can just type in oregano oil and it's gonna pull up tons of research articles. Same thing with thyme. If you have the little desk reference book, look up oregano and thyme. You're gonna see that they are both powerhouse oils. And so Inner Defense combines the two of those along with the Thieves blend into a capsule all ready for you to go. Now I know that if you have a sensitive stomach, this is something that you want to take on a full stomach. Like you want to take it with food, and I would suggest taking it with some sort of fat, because the oregano in it and even the thyme can sit a little strangely if you have a sensitive stomach. I take it without any food and I'm fine, but my husband cannot take it without food. And then lemon and myrtle, diffusing those are fantastic. And then the breathe again roll on. I love that one. You can apply it to your chest. You can apply a little bit under your nose, even the bottoms of the feet. If you are familiar with reflexology, the toes are related to your sinuses. Okay. So they're a great place if you have anything going on, coughing or nasal type stuff going on. Applying to the toes is a fantastic place to apply oils. All right. Let's talk about digestion, because you know when you have a baby growing in you, like things start getting a little bit crowded in there. You know, like you end up towards the end of pregnancy, end up feeling full after like 3 bites, and then you're hungry like 10 minutes later. But here are some things that you can use if you are experiencing any sort of digestion needs. Alkaline, I absolutely loved at the end of both of my pregnancies when I started like having some feelings of indigestion. It was fantastic to take to calm that. Ginger and Digestion oil are 2 that you could put it in water and drink it, put a little bit under the tongue. You could put a little bit in a capsule and take it that way. But those 2 are both fantastic for digestion. Ginger is also a really good one for morning sickness type feelings. If you don't mind the smell of ginger, I never used it because I don't like the smell of ginger, so I always went to peppermint. And then Life 9 probiotics. This is going to help bowel function, which oftentimes is a little bit slow during pregnancy. So this is a good one to help you with, just helping things to move along. All right, a couple more here. Comfort Tone. This is specifically for constipation. So once again, for me, it was especially as I started getting a little bit larger that I would deal with a little bit of that, and Comfort Tone always came to the rescue on that. The warning here is to not begin taking it in the last trimester unless instructed by healthcare provider, as the forced bowel contractions may press on the uterus, causing premature contractions. Okay. And then Balance Complete. That's a food supplement. That is like a shake. Okay, it's powder that you can turn into a shake, and that would just be, once again, to be promoting digestion, helping things move along. It has plenty of fiber in it and other nutrients that is just good as a meal replacement. All right. And then last one on digestive health. This is all enzymes. So there's actually more enzymes at Young Living Cells, but here's the 3 listed. Essential Zyme is to be taken between meals. Essential Zyme 4 is a more concentrated enzyme that's great to take on the go because it comes in these like separate little packets. And you take 2 of them. You take the white one and the yellow one with your food. It covers protein and carbs and fats and helps you to digest all of those things once again, so that you're absorbing more nutrients, baby gets more nutrients, and also it helps move things along. And then Detoxine would be the enzymes for vegans. I'm not vegan, but I also take Detoxine because I'm not always eating meat. So it's going to help to digest any of the non-meat foods. All right. Aroma Ease. This would be a good one for mild nausea or morning sickness. You know, just put a drop in your hands, rub it together, smell it, breathe it in. You could put a little bit on your belly as well. And then Peppermint. Peppermint's energizing. Once again, mild nausea or morning sickness. I absolutely loved this one. I didn't have horrible morning sickness with either of my pregnancies, but anytime I felt queasy, I would just take a drop of peppermint and just breathe it in, and that helped so much. I was teaching during both of my pregnancies, so I just kept a bottle right on my desk to use whenever I needed it. And a warning, which we'll get to this later too during the baby part of it. Some have reported that peppermint reduces their milk supply when they use it while breastfeeding. So that's something just to be aware of and to watch. You know, if you're using a product that has peppermint in it, probably not a big deal. You can try a drop of peppermint, see if it does anything. If it doesn't, then you can keep using it. It didn't impact my supply at all. I didn't notice any difference with peppermint. So, all right. Just more on peppermint. All right, Gentle Babies. Gentle Baby. So this is a blend, and this is great for baby massage. This is also good for you as your stomach is stretching out and you start getting those stretch marks. This is a good one to put on just to help with that. You can use it aromatically or topically. Add a drop to lotion or skin ointment. Anything like that will work well. And it's just a very calming, soothing scent. Okay, frankincense essential oil. Think about it. This was one of the oils brought to Jesus, or maybe brought to Mary, right? To use with Jesus. But when you look at the old day uses of it, it makes sense why that would have been one of the gifts brought to a new mom. It's really good for the skin, okay? It's a good one to use during labor. It's a good one just to help with the stretching of orifices. You can diffuse it. You can add it to a lotion. It's got a woodsy, spicy aroma. Most of you know it because it came in the starter kit if that's how you started with Young Living. But just it's a really good skin oil, and it's a really gentle oil. So it's one that can also be diluted and used with babies. This was one of the oils that I anointed both of my babies' heads with when they were born, frankincense. How I wish that I had this when I was pregnant. So the Cool Azul pain relief cream would be a great one to go to. I'm thinking about like sore back and sore feet. Like you're just so sore, especially towards the end of pregnancy. This would be a great one to use for any of that as you're going through that process. Okay, and then just a few tips for birth. Okay, so for breech babies, there have been reports that peppermint or myrrh actually helps to turn the baby. So it would be applying that oil to the area where the head is of the baby, and then they want to move away from it, and so they end up turning. For premature labor, I actually have a friend who used lavender during premature labor. She had already called the paramedics to come because I don't remember what week she was at, but she was having major contractions. She laid down and she basically poured lavender all over her belly, like lots of drops of lavender all over her belly, and the labor stopped. So it's worth knowing, right? That's one, as well as jasmine and orange, that may be helpful with that. And then for during labor, okay, fennel, clary sage, helichrysum, ylang ylang are good ones to have on hand. Clary sage, once again, that is one that promotes estrogen. And so that's something that you do want to promote during labor. So clary sage, same, fennel would be a good one for that too. Helichrysum is just a good one to have on hand, just in case of any excessive bleeding. Okay, helichrysum stops bleeding quickly. And I've heard stories of moms taking capsules of it when they had a lot of bleeding and it's stopping that massive bleeding. All right, fear or stress. So here's some good ones to use just either during labor or as you're moving into that process, just to help create a space that is just positive and relaxing for you, because that is what you want during your labor experience. I'll tell you this, with my first, I think because I had so much, I was doing natural childbirth and I had a lot of back labor pain. And so I was kind of nauseous and sick to my stomach. So the oils that usually smelled good to me did not smell good to me during labor. I think because my nose was so sensitive and I was just kind of feeling sick. So I didn't, any of the floral ones like Joy and stuff that I thought I would diffuse during labor, I didn't want to. I was good with peppermint. I was good with citrus oils, anything that was like more fruity. Eucalyptus was okay, but I couldn't do any of the floral stuff because it made me just feel nauseous while I was laboring. So you'll figure out for yourself. I always recommend, if you are pregnant right now, write out your list of stuff that you want whoever's going to be your support person there to diffuse, different ones to try. what things do you want? I had a whole list of things that I wanted during my labor, and that was kind of fun to be able to write that out and have all of the oils there. All right, so after the birth for mom, sometimes it's hard to urinate right after you have the baby, so a drop of peppermint in the toilet, and a lot of nurses do this, I think, at the hospitals too. Just a drop of peppermint in the toilet oftentimes helps you to be able to go. Also, eucalyptus over the bladder can be helpful. And then Clariderm spray is one that you might want to look into having before you go into labor. It's just a really gentle spray. From what I remember, I believe I have this right, Gary Young, the founder of the company, he actually created this for Mary when she was pregnant to use. So it has all of the oils that are going to be good for helping that area to get back to normal, and it's very gentle. So it would just be a topical spray. All right, and then of course, oils afterwards like joy and peace and calming are fantastic. All right, so these are the recommended ones for your baby post-delivery for anointing. So once again, remember when you're using especially on a newborn, you don't even need a drop. Like literally what I would do with a newborn is take a drop in your hand, take your finger, stick it in that drop of oil, and then put that on yourself. And then you can add a little bit of carrier oil to that, like half a drop that you have there. And then you can just, a little bit on their head. Trauma life, because the birth process can be traumatic can you imagine? Think about what they're going through in that birthing process. So trauma life, just to help release some of that. And then frankincense and myrrh are two great ones to use as well. All right. Nursing. So here's a couple tips for nursing. Fennel is known to increase milk supply. And I did notice that when I wanted to increase milk supply, especially as I was going longer and my milk supply was going down as my babies weren't nursing as much, fennel would help that. And then to decrease, like I said, peppermint works for some people to decrease milk supply. So just be aware of that. And same thing with clary sage. And then for postpartum sadness, okay, because that happens, Progessence Plus, that's natural progesterone, and I have recommended that to a number of moms to help them just get back to feeling like themselves. So Progessence Plus, and then any of these oils, Joy is a fantastic one too, just to help just feel lifted after all the hormones are just going crazy after having a baby. So I love the combo of Progessence Plus and Joy. Also, I would definitely recommend adding omegas in, which you probably would be doing anyway, should be doing at the end of your pregnancy anyway, but continuing with omega, you really want to make sure you're getting those fatty acids. All right. And that's Omega Jice 3 is the name of the Young Living omega supplement. All right, so let's talk about breast care, because occasionally you can get clogged ducts and things like that. And so the combination of geranium, lavender, and Melrose, and adding that to water and then dipping a washcloth in it and just laying that over the breast can help. So that's a good thing to try. And you don't need to worry about getting all of the oil off like prior to nursing. It's okay if there's a little oil left on your breast. It's not going to harm the baby. So just know that. Eucalyptus globulus or radiata. This is interesting. This, once again, I didn't put this PowerPoint together. This came from the Gentle Babies book, but I thought that this was really interesting. Add 5 drops to 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt and add that to a basin of warm water and soak feet. Repeat as frequently as each hour during the day. For reasons unknown, it just helps. So it helps with like clogged ducts and things like that. Super interesting. I definitely was not aware of that when I had my babies. And then Melrose is another one that could help with clogged milk ducts. So applying a little bit of Melrose as well as a warm compress over that area is a good option. I also used, what did I use? I used tangerine, and I used, I know I used another one. Was it lavender? I don't know. I had a couple of clogged ducts. I know tangerine was one that I used. Maybe it was Melrose. Melrose may have been the other one I used. Anyway, so there's some options for you. All right, so we're going to transition now into talking about what to use with your infants and your children. We have a special treat. We have 3 moms who have been using the oils for a while, who are going to come live right now, and they are going to share just a couple of uses for oils or personal care products. I'm going to first invite, you're going to have to unmute yourself, but I'm going to first invite Lexus Chance. Are you on right now? You have to unmute yourself. You are. I haven't checked to make sure all 3 of them are on. Let me see. Lexus, come live if you are on. Okay, I don't see you. So we're gonna go to Christina. Christina, are you? Yep, I see you. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Christina.
Okay, I'm here.
Hi, Christina. Okay,
Hi.
So Christina, you've been using the oils for how long?
5 years.
5 years. And you're a mom of 3.
3, yes. 3.
One of them a baby.
Yes, she's 17 months old now.
17 months. Okay, so give us like 2 stories. Now, I'm going to ask you to be as compliant as you can be, but it's your story, so you can share it. Just make sure that if there's other stuff that you did, that you're including that too. If it wasn't just oils, just include the whole story if there's anything non-compliant. But go ahead.
Sure. So actually, just to kind of piggyback off of what you were just talking about with nursing and just having the baby, my absolute favorite oil blend for new moms is Joy. And it's so much my favorite that I have 2 bottles. So when one bottle is empty, I add water to it, and then I add a spray top to it. And I spray myself everything. It's just so good for those unbalanced hormones. The first couple days after you have a baby, when you get home, when everyone's coming to help you and you don't really know what kind of help you need. Joy is just, not only does it give you joy, uplifting, it just kind of helps to normalize everything. And I got to the point where I was just using it preventatively because I just knew, I knew I was going to need it. And after 3 kids, I knew that those first few weeks of having a baby, I just kind of struggle with that emotionally. And Joy oil just helps so much, not only with my emotions, but also it helps support your milk supply if you're nursing. Plus it just smells really good, and new moms don't have time to bathe. And so it was my perfume. It just everything. So if you know a new mom, or if you're a soon to be mom, order Joy oil. It's just a wonderful thing. Secondly, talking about clogged milk ducts, which is lovely. That is something that happened to me 3 or 4 times during this pregnancy. And I was so grateful to have the oils, because it always happened at midnight, 1 o'clock, you know, when it's not super convenient to send your husband out to the store for whatever, or to go, you know, to talk to a doctor. So what I did specifically for that, and then when I developed mastitis, was, like you said, a warm compress, Melrose all over the area, tons of Ningxia Red, tons of water. I also took Super C and Inner Defense. These are huge supplements for new moms to have on hand, not only for yourself, but if your baby ends up getting sick, you know, with a cold or whatever, having older siblings that were in school, that happened with us. You know, they come home, they're all over the baby, you can't stop it. And she ended up getting, you know, a little bit of a cough, some sniffles. So I knew whatever supplements I was taking, she was going to get through the breast milk. And so that was a huge comfort for me to know that, you know, I could support her immune system in that way. But that really helped me to get over the whole clogged milk duct mastitis issue that I had. So much so that I didn't even need to end up going to the doctor. Thankfully, I had sent my mom pictures of what was happening. And she said, oh my gosh, you have to see the doctor tomorrow. And like I said, this was at midnight. So I said, well, I'm going to do all my oily things. I'm going to drink my Ningxia, do all that I can. And literally 8 hours later, it had almost completely gone away.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
I never ran out of those supplements, because also once you get a clogged milk duct, you're more likely to get it again on the same side. So since I knew that, I wanted to have those supplements on hand so that I was always prepared. And then really quickly, one really good thing to have on hand for kids is the Seedlings baby oil. I love the size. It's super easy to travel with. It's a great carrier oil for everyone in the family. And just the fact that it's small and easy to tote around made it just one more thing that we would throw in the diaper bag. It was easy to travel with, and it smells really good too. So if you know a new mom, or if you're getting ready to have a baby, that is definitely something that I would put on the list.
Fantastic. Christina, thank you so much for coming live.
You're welcome.
Wisdom with us. Great
Yeah.
stories. And I'm so jealous that we didn't have any of the Seedlings products when my kiddos were babies. So I love them though. I love using them for myself. I always have the wipes on hand for sure. And I love that tip about using that carrier oil. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Brianna Grossman, would you come live?
Am I on?
You are on. Hi, Brianna.
Hi, Andrea.
Okay, how many years have you been using the oils, girlie?
September will be 5 years.
5 years too. So you guys must have enrolled about the same time. And you also have 3 little ones, not so little ones, some of them.
Yeah.
Okay, and your youngest is how old?
She will be 18 months next month.
18 months. Okay, wow, you guys are like, that's so funny, exactly the same. All right, so give us a couple of stories, and same thing, I don't know if you heard me say to Christina, if your story isn't like compliant, just make sure you are sharing everything that you did. If there was other stuff outside of the oils that you used, use that, and just try to avoid any sort of disease names. I don't know what your stories are, so maybe you don't need that, but go ahead.
All right, thanks. Thanks for having me too. And hi to Christina. We do have actually a lot in our babies were born, I think like a week or 2 apart. So, so good to hear these success stories with moms that are using Young Living. So I don't know if you guys can see, but here's my babies.
Cutie pies.
12, 9, and then my 1-year-old. And so real quick, my story was because there's such a big age gap between the 9-year-old and the baby, was because I was told by doctors at the time that I was wanting to have more children, that my body was not in a good place to try to, I wouldn't have been able to have a healthy pregnancy in their opinion, based on what was going on in my body at the time. There was autoimmune issues, mostly. I mean, my body was just all out of whack. And so once I was told babies aren't a good idea, I mean, that completely threw me for a whole loop too, because I wasn't ready to hear that information. I was like, no, I want to have more. So that was back in 2013, 2 years of depression and anxiety and all that. And then Young Living came along in 2015, and started learning a lot about my body, a lot about the human body, and the fact that I was just overloaded with toxins. So listening to you go through the slides, and I mean, there were some things that I was going to share, and I was just like, oh, that's good. Oh, I did that too. Oh, I did that good. So literally every slide, there was something that I could mention that helped support me through the success of our 3rd pregnancy. And also the fact that we completely shifted from hospital birth to home birth, and how Young Living supported me to make that decision, and to help also shift my mindset into being and feeling good about having a home birth with our 3rd one, which everything went great. Pregnancy was awesome. Midwife team was awesome. All of our oils, all of our Young Living support, all of our natural things that we did, eating healthier, and thinking healthier, fixing our mindset and things like that helped out. So like I said, my body was overloaded with toxins, and what I figured out and learned that I needed to do was support my elimination system and get my body back to a balance, a natural activity versus hyper activity or hypoactivity. You know, I wasn't doing enough, or it wasn't doing enough without the support. So a few things that I used to do that were obviously Ningxia. Ningxia helps support us nutritionally all over. So that was something that we did every single day. Another one that I got marks with my first two. And so it's like, I don't want any more marks. So Tender Tush and Gentle Baby were ones I gently used every single day. And plus nice one-on-one time with me and my belly, to kind of like do the start to develop a energetic relationship with the baby beyond, you know, what was already going on the inside. I mean,
Uh-oh, cut out a little bit.
What?
Brianna, you're cutting out.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, good. So what I was saying was that a lot of the oils, mostly that I use support, didn't do a lot of, I did some supplements, but I feel the oils were always my go-to. I mean, that's what I use consistently every single day. So, frankincense for during, just the smell of it to me, when I was born with frankincense. When you about perineum care, or, you know, helping things. I had an episiotomy. I was told that it was too big. It was cut with her, and then, you know, I'll never forget the sound of that. And then with my second, and so I was kind of terrified of having home birth, and then thinking that I was going to tear, and would my team be able to help me afterwards? But I didn't. I did everything I was supposed to do naturally. I did all the pre-care, the massaging and things like that, using frankincense and the Clariderm before having baby. My midwife's like, girl, you didn't even get like a stretch mark. Like, everything happened the way it was to. There was no tears. We didn't have to sew, suture, anything. So I definitely attribute to, you know, oils and helping, you know, prep the area before we was. As far as postpartum things, I know Christina touched on mastitis. I had that as well, and the same things that you mentioned, along with colloidal was something recommended by my midwife, so I did it as well. But used frankincense to massage the area, hot, cold. Even did like the cabbage leaf thing to see if that would help. That was just really smelly, but also the Calm roll-on was very beneficial for me during the 4th trimester, during postpartum, and just the healing of the detachment of baby now being gone out of the stomach, and then you have like the phantom kicks of baby in the tummy, and then so there was a lot of random spontaneous, and so the CD roll-on was super helpful for me. And now that baby's here, I would say that my top oils for her, because she's not a great sleeper and she's super nasty, she's berries. So I find Surrender, Sleepy Eyes, and some oils like vetiver or valerian, you know, just a drop, diluted, massage on the feet and back for sleep better. So that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for all of that. Appreciate you being on. I'm just going to make sure really quickly that Lexus is not with us. Lexus, are you on? Okay, then we're going to get just one more testimonial from a currently pregnant mama who is on the call. Casey Watkins, would you come live or paint? Casey?
Hey, good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
You actually covered a lot of the stuff I was going to say right there, Brianna. So thank you. So yes, I am 33 weeks pregnant right now with my first. I've been using oils since 2011. Hard to believe it's been so long. And so I was super excited to use the oils for pregnancy, and I'm looking forward to like all the soothing stuff and everything with pregnancy, and with the baby. And I was like writing notes like crazy. But things that I've used the most, Tender Tush is awesome for the belly. I put that on every morning. Which when I first heard that one, I was like, Tender Tush, like what? But it's been amazing. No stretch marks at this point, at least. I found there was a recipe for a roll-on with Valor and Gentle Babies together, equal parts, and I rub that on my stomach and just along my spine every single day, and that has been huge. I've been going to a chiropractor. My pelvis was out of alignment, and so between the chiropractor, a belt she gave me to help kind of hold my pelvis in place, and the Valor, and I've been using copaiba and frankincense on that every day. And joy oil actually has really helped with that too. So kind of going to be emotional, I think it's kind of the root of some stuff that I had to work through during pregnancy has been huge. And then as far as leg circulation, now that I'm getting bigger, my legs are getting tired faster. Aroma Seas and Cypress have both been really good to help with circulation and just kind of keep my legs feeling good, because I do work on my feet, so I'm on my feet for 4 to 6 hours a day, 3 days a week. So those have been really, really good for that. Finding emotional oils that help you work through all the emotions of pregnancy. Everyone I've talked to has different ones. Joy has been huge for me, which I never used Joy hardly before this, and now I use it daily. Has been awesome. And so yeah, just finding ones to balance you, because there's an oil out there that will help. So if you're pregnant, just keep experimenting, find something that works for you and keep using it. So
Awesome. Casey, thank you so much for coming live. We're excited to see your little one. What's your due date?
October 3rd.
October 3rd. It's coming up soon.
Skin bake.
Oh my goodness. You're so cute. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate all you mamas that shared. All right, we are going to do a speed session with the last of these slides. Really quickly, let me announce the second winner and ask the third question. All right, Denise Reynolds, congratulations. You are the second winner. You're gonna get a $20 product credit. And the third question is, what was one thing that one of these mamas said that you found to be useful or helpful for you? Even if you are on and you don't have any kiddos, I'm sure there was still something that you could take away. So go ahead and put that in the comments. We'll announce our third winner shortly. I am going to literally speed through this because I really want to honor as close as we can to our 6 o'clock time, and that's 1 minute from now. So here we go. So basically there are a lot of Young Living products that can be used for infants and children. There's a whole kids line. There's the seedlings baby line. So you'll find all kinds of things, including oils and nutritional supplements, as well as bath and body care. So for baby soft skin, I'm just gonna give you really quickly, seedlings baby wipes and Kids Sense Owie for scrapes. You can clean it and then use the Owie over those scrapes. Baby lotion just to moisturize the skin. Seedlings diaper rash cream, which is a fantastic diaper rash ointment. And then Lavaderm after sun spray. This is great for scrapes, for cuts, for insect bites, for everything. It's just a good one to have on hand. All right, digestion for kiddos, tummy jives, Mighty Bites, Mighty Zymes. The Mighty Zymes are the kids' enzymes. So once again, helping them to break down their food and to process it. For occasional sniffles, this is from the Kids Sense line, Snifflease. And also from the Kids Sense line, Sleepy Eyes. So great to put in the diffuser before they go to sleep. For babies, just a couple drops in the diffuser is all you need, okay? Toddlers, apply it to them, or you can put a few more drops in the diffuser. And I love it for myself. So I actually have this one on my bedside table because I love this one for sleep. All right, Kids Sense Genius. This is great as your kids are growing, as they're getting into school age. We will put this one on before the school day begins, just on the brainstem, like right at the base of the head, kind of where the neck and the head meets in that little groove there. That's where we'll apply this. And it has a lot of focusing oils, a lot of brain supporting oils in it. So great one to help kids with focus and memorization and things like that. All right, and then this just gives you a glimpse of the Seedlings baby line. I love buying these products for new moms just to introduce them to that natural lifestyle, to get some things into their home that smell so good and that are perfectly safe for them to use on their little ones. A few items for the outdoors, including insect repellent, mineral sunscreen lotion, and the Lavaderm after sun spray. If you've stayed out in the sun a little bit too long, the Lavaderm is one to use for that. These are safe to use on the kiddos. And then Young Living has an entire thieves cleaning line. So anything from your laundry detergent to your dishwasher detergent to your hand soaps and your dishwasher soap and your household cleaning supplies. All of that can be covered in Young Living with ingredients that are safe and effective. I love that I can put my kids to use and I don't have to worry about what they're using. It's not hazardous to their health. All right, and the best way to order is through Young Living's Essential Rewards program. This is Young Living's customer loyalty program. So basically you can put together anything you want as long as it equals 50 PV, which is generally equal to dollar amount. And it's monthly. So you can cancel it anytime. You can switch around the date of your orders anytime. You can mix and match any products. So our monthly order is never the same. We always have different new products. There's some of the staples that we get every month, but then aside from that, it's whatever we're running low on that we put together. And this gets delivered to your door. You get the first 3 months, 10% back that goes into an account to use on free product. After 3 months, it goes to 20%. For 2 years, you get 20%. And after 2 years, it goes up to 25%. So every time we order, 25% of what we order goes into an account to use on free product, which is awesome. That adds up fast and we get tons of free stuff. Young Living also sends you every 3 months a loyalty gift, like thank you for being a loyal member, here's a free oil for you. And then also depending on how much you order, there are monthly promos. And when you're on Essential Rewards, if you're at 100 on Essential Rewards or 190 or 250 or 300 PV levels, you're going to get free products from that specific month sent to you in your order. So definitely the best way to order your products for your family. And why do we use Young Living? Okay, the 3 pillars of Seed to Seal process guarantees that every essential oil and oil-infused supplement are as pure and potent as nature intended. This verifies authenticity of species and ensures efficacy of every bottle of essential oil. We have thousands of acres of aromatic farms. We have independent test labs verifying quality. The founder of the company had 30+ years of experience with essential oils, and it's way over 4 million now. It's something like 7 million households that are using Young Living products. So we're so grateful that you joined us this evening to learn a little bit more. I'm going to do a giveaway. I think Julie gave me a name, and we're going to ask our last question right now. All right, Catherine McVeigh, congratulations. You got a $20 product credit coming your way. And then the last question, really quickly, what is one thing that you learned tonight from this presentation? Go ahead and put that in the comments right now. And we're gonna right away, Julie, I'm gonna have you right away, give them like 1 minute and then choose a winner. Okay, so one thing you learned tonight. And then Julie, I'm just gonna have you come on and just announce the winner for that. And then I have an announcement and we will be done for the evening. Okay, while we're finishing that up and you are choosing a winner, Julie, I want to let you guys know that there is a pets class next Wednesday at 5 p.m. So if you have animals, join us for that call. If you have friends who have animals, invite them to join us for that call. You can find that in the LW and Lifestyle group. If you have friends that you're wanting to invite that are not part of that, they're not on our team yet, you can just grab the Zoom link from from that event, and you can send them the Zoom link and they can join us on Zoom that way. Wanted to show you really quickly a book that meant a lot to me 8 years ago when I was going into my 10th year teaching. It's called The 4-Year Career. Going into my 10th year teaching, we'd been using the oils for 4 or 5 years, loved the products, loved the lifestyle. And it was to that point where I just needed something new. You know, I had 2 little kids at home. I wanted to be home with them. And so I read this book. This business made sense to me. And so I just started to build this business in the crevices of my day while I was still working as a high school English teacher. So all that to say, love this book. A lot of the people in our Living Well Now team who are sharing and living with others have read that book. To me, it helped me to see why doing something alongside of what you're already doing is an absolute no-brainer financially. So if you are loving the products and you're like, okay, I've never really shared or I've never really considered what the business side of this might look like, if you want a copy of that, I will send you a copy for free. I just need you to send me a message on Facebook with your name and your mailing address, and I will get a copy out to you. So you can find me on Facebook at Andrea Hamner, Hamner, Lehman, Lahman, and I'll be happy to get that to you. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Julie, do you have a winner?
Yes, I do. And it is Casey Payne.
Casey Payne. Congratulations, Casey. All right, we will get those $20 product credits out to you soon. For everybody else, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next time. Take care.